Welcome back. Just a horrible, shocking story here as a schoolgirl in Africa reportedly died within 30 minutes of being bitten by one of the world's most venomous snakes.
That's right. Melody Chipatura was bitten by a black mamba in her high school classroom in Zimbabwe after the snake lunged at her thigh. The Herald Zimbabwe paper reported that Chipatura was rushed to the hospital, but the 17-year-old died before she arrived less than 30 minutes after being bitten by the snake. It remains unclear how the snake got into the classroom, but it's not uncommon for snakes to make their way into buildings on warm days. Now, the highly venomous black mamba can grow up to 14 feet and is considered one of the world's fastest and most venomous snakes. They're native to the savannas of Africa.
My goodness. All right, another senseless shooting here as a married couple and their son is convicted of first-degree premeditated murder in the fatal shooting of a security guard who demanded the woman's daughter wear a mask while shopping. They were sentenced this week to life in prison without parole. Larry Teague, wife Charmel, and her son Raymond Bishop were sentenced in the shooting death of Calvin Munnerlyn in May of 2020. Now, according to prosecutors, Munnerlyn was shot at the store just north of downtown Flint shortly after telling Charmel Teague's daughter she had to leave because she lacked a mask. Bishop's sister, Bria Bishop, was charged with tampering with evidence, lying to police, and being an accessory to a felony. She was also sentenced in November to time served and probation.
Two drug companies are seeking approval from the Food and Drug Administration for gene therapies that may provide what amounts to a cure to sickle cell. But the decision to take the medication, should it become available, is not so simple. Sources say insurers are likely to pay for the part of the treatment that involves using a disabled virus to deliver the therapy, but whether they will pay for most of the chemo, hospitalization, and other costs is uncertain. Patients worry about bills from the hospital and doctors. Sickle cell disease affects at least 100,000 people in the United States and millions worldwide. It mostly strikes Black and Hispanic or Latino people. People with the disease face searing pain, stroke, damage to tissues and organs, and often death at an early age.
Staying with healthcare for a minute, as hospitals facing ongoing staffing shortages are turning to robots. Years of the COVID-19 pandemic has burned out many healthcare workers to the point where some hospitals are now turning to robotic nursing assistants to help overcome the problems.
They are working 24/7 with only a short period of time to charge in between. We would need at least 6 people to do that amount of work.
Wow, the two robots make about 1,800 deliveries per month and have saved staff members more than 3,100 hours of work. The company that created the robots says using technology isn't about replacing human workers, but about helping lighten their workload so they can focus on patient care. Robots may not completely solve the nation's ongoing nursing shortage, but some say they have been lifesavers.
Now, maybe I might feel differently about this story if I didn't watch the movie Megan with my friend Cameron this weekend in Atlanta.
Is that with the doll, the one?
The doll, the robot doll that is pitched as a doll that can, that can spend time with your kid, and it's the best toy that they'll ever have. And the Megan doll has artificial intelligence, right? And so, it's constantly learning from people, learning from our habits, right? And at some point I worry, do these robots begin to operate more independently of the sort of commands that they might be given by actual human beings, in this case, actual healthcare professionals? And so I don't know. I don't know if that's going to make me feel good as a patient, knowing that I'm getting my shot, among other things, from a robot.
No denying, the technology age has done wonders, for our lifestyles, enhancing, our experience as human beings. I don't think you can totally get away from that human touch. Ask those nurses in New York who went on strike and are back on the job with a tentative agreement. I don't, in my opinion, I don't think, no matter how many robots you put on those floors, there's going to be, a need for human touch, and physically and metaphorically speaking. And I just don't think you're going to get away with that. So I welcome the technology. However, let's not forget about how important we,
that's right,
as the thinkers with the intellect and the knowledge and the know-how, are going to be needed, not only in the nursing field, but we're here in Detroit, home of the automobile. I know a lot of folks have been faced with being replaced by robots, but at the end of the day, you just can't get away from somebody on that line helping put that car together. And I think the same rings true for this nursing technology robot thing.
Yeah. What about that bedside manner? I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
But what I do know is that many Black parents have reported disappointment at the lack of lessons about authentic and accurate African-American history and culture in their children's schools. One educator has developed a program to respond to this call to action. Meet Dr. Chike Akua, the creator of Reading Revolution Online, a web-based reading support program that helps children build reading skills, confidence, and cultural identity development in less than 15 minutes a day, equipping them for success in schools and in life. With these brief daily lessons, children learn about their Black heroes and sheroes. In 2019, the National Assessment of Educational Progress reported that only 18% of Black fourth graders were proficient in reading and only 15% for Black eighth graders.
To the Mall of America now, as they are facing massive backlash after a video showing an Ethiopian man named Paul Shoro, who went viral over the weekend. Now, the Twitter video shows a security guard saying that Shoro's shirt that read "Jesus Saved" is a form of solicitation. The unidentified guard said, quote, "It is religious soliciting. There is no soliciting allowed on mall property, which is private property." That's the end of that quote. Now, according to sources, Shoro previously received a 24-hour ban for soliciting the week before for preaching on the property. Shoro mentioned the event while explaining to the security guard that he didn't understand why there was a huge commotion over his shirt.
A group of volunteers in Oakland, California are giving back on a weekly basis after they say hard times are all too familiar for them, so they want to ease the burden of a meal for so many. Fox's Amber Lee has the story.
Hey! You next, right? Okay.
Sharon Alexander, with the help of volunteers, feeds the homeless in Oakland every week. She is co-founder of Arthur Jean Safe Place, a nonprofit.
I'm doing something that, for that one moment in time, may help someone else. Without judgment, with respect.
Alexander tells me she was once homeless herself and loves to serve those less fortunate.
It's from my heart. It's a passion.
But now she says she and her nonprofit will be without a home after January 31st.
Clothes and things like that, we'll put them in backpacks and we'll, bring that out too.
Alexander runs her nonprofit out of her home in San Pablo. She tells me she's lived here for 12 years, but the property owner's failure to fix multiple code violations is forcing her out. She and her grandson, who volunteers by her side, are packing up and praying that they will find a new home.
We're not going to give up, but it's just that it's very scary, I'll be honest with you.
Scared and grieving. She says her partner and the nonprofit's co-founder, Ronald Wolf, died 3 months ago. Still, she's determined to continue their mission.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. You're welcome.
Lynette Vaughn tells me she's battling an addiction to crack cocaine. She says Alexander's weekly offerings of a hot meal are a lifeline.
It helps a lot. It helps a lot, you know what I'm saying? She comes every Sunday, and, I'll be right here every Sunday.
Alexander says helping others gives her strength.
I just keep going, one day at a time. One day at a time. I'm looking at resources. My whole world seems like it's crumbling down, but I believe that I'm going to be stronger when we get through this.
Alexander is moving most of her belongings into storage. She plans to stay at a motel for 2 weeks. Beyond that, she says she has faith that things will work out. For more information about her nonprofit, go to the web link section of our website, ktvu.com. In Oakland, Amber Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Our thanks to Amber Lee of KTVU for that story. Not very
Close to
far from where I grew up.
up.
And, Who'd have thought that the lifeline to so many unhoused folks, right, is now facing homelessness herself. And so we encourage people to go to that KTVU.com website for more information on that charity and how you can be of support.
Yeah, you know what, listen, your getting is in your giving, and I believe God's Universe is going to honor the giving that she's done and bless her with a safe home sooner rather than later. I just think it's so ironic that the giver is in need, and I just believe that her need will be met because she's met the needs of so many others. And you had a couple of ties to that story. Not only did you grow up not too far from that area, but that reporter there is someone you ran into the beginning of your journalism career.
That's right. I remember Amber Lee when I interned at Fox KTVU in the Bay Area when I was in college. I remember Amber Lee and Leslie Griffith and Dennis Richmond, the legendary Dennis Richmond, and among so many other folks there. And so it's an honor to be in the same Fox TV family as they are today.
And now they're watching you in the Bay doing your thing here on Fox Soul's Black Report. Still ahead, another HBCU will now have a medical program.
That's right. We'll tell you which university and the plans for the program when we return. You're watching Fox Soul's Black Report.